At 7 a.m., my sister showed up at the apartment door with her suitcase. "I'll live here now," she said, like it was decided. Behind her, my mother's voice cut in, sharp and smug. "We're doubling your rent to cover our expenses." They expected me to flinch, to beg, to fold like always. Instead, I nodded slowly and said, "Then I'll move out." They laughed in my face. That was the last time. The apartment wasn't a gift, it was a leash. My parents owned the building. I rented from them, always under the illusion it kept me close. In reality, it kept me controlled. A reminder that even as an adult, I was living under their roof. And my sister? She'd always been the golden one. No job, no direction, but adored. Where she failed, they excused. Where I succeeded, they diminished. Still, I paid. On time, every month. I furnished the place myself, turned 4 bare walls into a home. And for a while, I told myself it was enough. But that morning, when they stood there smirking, I realized they never saw me as a tenant, or a daughter, just a wallet they could squeeze dry. The signs had been there, the sudden maintenance fees, the unexplained hikes in rent, the way my sister conveniently started visiting more often, lingering like she was measuring the curtains. And then came the ultimatum: pay double, accept my sister as a roommate, or get out. That wasn't family, that was extortion. But instead of rage, I felt something else: clarity. I didn't shout, didn't argue, I simply said, "Fine, I'll move." What they didn't know was that the lease, drawn up years ago when they were careless, listed every piece of furniture, every fixture, every improvement as mine, purchased, maintained, and owned by me. The floors I'd refinished, the appliances I'd installed, the lighting, the custom blinds, even the washer and dryer, all mine. So when I said I was moving out, I meant it. Every last piece of it. The very next day, I rented a truck, 2 movers, paid in cash. We stripped the place bare. The sofa, the bed, the dining table, the cabinets I'd paid to install, even the fridge and stove. By the time we finished, the apartment looked the way it had when I first signed the lease: hollow, empty, unlivable. I left nothing behind but dust. And then the final touch. I called the utility companies, canceled the accounts in my name. Electricity, gas, internet, water, gone. By the time my parents returned with my sister in tow, ready to crown her queen of her new home, they were greeted by 4 empty walls and silence. My mother's voice cracked first. What happened here?" I stood in the center of the barren living room, arms folded. I moved out, like I said. My sister's jaw dropped. "But where's the furniture?" I looked at her, calm. "Mine, all of it. Check the receipts." Then I handed them an envelope. Inside, termination of lease, effective immediately. A stack of invoices proving every improvement had been made from my pocket. And, for good measure, a notice from the utilities confirming service shut off. The color drained from my father's face as he scanned the documents. He knew what it meant. Months, maybe years, of repairs before they could rent it again. Money they didn't have. "Enjoy your new apartment," I said softly. "It's exactly what you deserve." I walked out that day without looking back. My new place was smaller, cheaper, but mine. No strings, no chains. My parents had laughed when they thought they had me cornered. My sister had smiled when she'd stolen my space. But now they had an empty shell of an apartment, and I had freedom. Revenge doesn't always come in fire or fury. Sometimes it comes in silence, in empty rooms, in the echo of your footsteps as you leave someone behind with nothing. And as I closed the door, I realized the truth. For the first time in my life, I wasn't living in their house. I was living in my own.